Okay, we're not trying.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the Thursday, June 5th, 2025 Smithfield School Committee meeting. Before we begin, to stand and say pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin, I'll read the emergency evacuation health notification. In case of an emergency, there are two main exits out of the media center. They are located to the right and left side of the media center through a set of double doors. Proceed to follow the exit signs to the exit doorways. If you should run into a bear, please use the other door. There are restrooms located outside of the media center and through either side of the double doors. The public comment sign-up sheet notification here in front. If you're going to talk during the public comment portion, please sign in. If you speak at any portion, please speak at the podium so it's captured by the equipment. First item tonight, consent agenda items, which are the approval of the minutes, the open minutes of May 15th, 2025 school committee meeting, and approval and sealing executive session minutes of April 3rd, 2025. 3.2, approval of bills, regular bills totaling $293,052.64. Direct checks from May 10th, 2025 to May 30th, 2025, totaling $58,208.98, and lunch bills totaling $81,813.22. This does require a motion.
Motion to approve consent agenda items?
And a second.
Second.
Motion is made second. Are there any questions, comments, anything? Yes?
I have to abstain.
Because you were not. That is correct. Thank you very much. Okay. For reminding us. Any other questions, comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays, no nays, and one abstention. Thank you. High school student representative reports. Ladies?
Yesterday, Gallagher Middle School's incoming National Junior Honor Society chapter was inducted. The National Junior Honor Society, similar to the National Honor Society, has the mission of supporting the local school and town community through community service initiatives. This past Monday, members of Smithfield High School's class of 2025, who either earned the academic distinctions of Summa or Magna Cum Laude, were invited, along with two adults of their choice, to the annual Summa Magna Cum Laude breakfast to celebrate their accomplishments. While enjoying the breakfast prepared by the high school cafeteria staff, students received cords to wear on graduation day. Gold cords were awarded to Summa Cum Laude students, and silver cords were awarded to Magna Cum Laude students. And on Tuesday, select students of Smithfield High School's class of 2025 were invited to the annual Senior Honors Night. At this event, members of the senior class who are graduating from Career Technical Education (CTE) pathways have excelled in areas of academics and/or athletics, or who won scholarships were honored. It was a wonderful night for all students, families, Smithfield High School staff, and scholarship donors in attendance. And as you may already know, the commencement ceremony for the class of 2025 will be held this Saturday, June 7th at Smithfield Park, and will begin at 11 o'clock a.m. The rain date for this event will be Sunday, June 8th, and the event will either be held at Deerfield Park or here at Smithfield High School, depending on the weather circumstances for that day.
On May 27th, many juniors at the Smithfield High School were awarded Junior Book Awards. Each award is given by a college recognizing that student's dedication to service, leadership, or scholarship. In addition to a certificate, many of these awards were accompanied by a book or scholarship ranging from $25,000 in value to the full cost of tuition. This morning, elections were held for the National Honor Society. 12 students in total ran for positions, and for the 2025-2026 school year, the NHS Executive Board will consist of Marvin Laguerre as president, Leo Chabot as vice president, Charles Curran as secretary, and Sarah O'Malley as treasurer. Also, the Pleasantview Elementary School celebrated the end of the year with their annual field day today. Students enjoyed Kona Ice, an inflatable obstacle course, a martial arts demonstration, and more. Woodbridge Elementary will also have a field day on June 11th. Final exams at the Smithfield High School begin on Tuesday, June 10th, and with only a few days left in the school year, we are all excited to finish strong.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Yeah, the light won't go on, but it's just gonna be
It won't
good.
go on, I don't know if it's on or not. I just want to recognize again, I know Ava's been recognized, but this is your final school committee meeting. You've been on it for 2 years, and very excited to be graduating, hopefully on Saturday if it doesn't rain, and then off to MIT, so congratulations, and thanks for being here and your teams.
Okay, now we move on to some recognitions. So we're going to start with the recognitions of the 2024-2025 Smithfield retirees.
This is particularly exciting, Mr. Chairman. We have a very young looking group over there. This is for retirement. You have before retirement, looks like me. After retirement, looks like a beautiful group over there. So I want to thank you all for coming here. We're going to recognize you individually. I'm going to say the number of years that you've been here, but all together, we have 128 years of experience right here in the room with us. So we are sorry to lose you, but you are going to a well-deserved retirement. So to the group, a huge congratulations. You one last time before you retire. So we're going to call you up and present you with a certificate of appreciation with the number of years. We'll say those for you, and if you don't mind, we'd love to take a picture of you. If you brought a friend or a relative, include you in the pictures as well. This is really a great occasion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mary Diaz. Proudly presented to Mary Diaz, 19 years dedicated to Smithfield Public
Yeah.
Certificate of appreciation, proudly presented to the Central, 12 years of dedicated service. Extra blush, it's like my son's 7th or 8th grade teacher.
Certificate of Appreciation proudly presented to Mary Goodwin, 31 years of dedicated service.
Wow.
Appreciation proudly presented to Cindy Gianarelli, 25 years. Catherine Riley. Catherine Riley, 25 years. Last but not least, Lorna Solitro. Certificate of Appreciation proudly presented to Lorna Solitro, 39 years of dedicated service to Smithfield Public.
Could we get the graduating classes of retirees up? One big group shot. Families invited to come up. Good group shot. Would the principals like to join us as retirees?
I know, I'm sure. Or something, you gotta say, or something.
Now, item number 6, we have recognition of Old County Road.
We may go in order to
Congratulations.
Principal Dr. Freeman also come up. So we are presenting 2 awards to students who are from Old County Road School. Pamela Rutolo and David DJ Greco could come up. This is for the Rising Above Award. This is a superintendent's award based on recommendations from your school principal and your schools. I'm going to speak a little bit about each student, and I've already warned DJ that I would probably embarrass the kids a little bit, but that's okay, and then I'm going to call their parents up. Camilla demonstrated extraordinary resilience and perseverance during RICAS testing.
Not only did she push through with courage, but she also maintained a strong commitment to academic excellence. Her determination resulted in proving that strength isn't just about overcoming obstacles, it's about rising above them. This nomination celebrates her inspiring perseverance. Congratulations, Mayor.
Certificate of recognition, rising above Award for exemplifying the school district values of kindness and respect, being a positive school ambassador, presented to Camilla Matua, Old County Elementary.
So Camilla, we can have you stay up here just for a minute longer. DJ is a shining example of what it means to be a positive leader. Through his involvement in school leadership as a member of the Good Vibe Tribe, he consistently works to make our school a warm, welcoming environment for everyone. Whether he's lending a hand to a peer or spreading kindness with a smile, his positive energy and genuine care for others help build a stronger, more inclusive community. His action speaks volumes. Congratulations, DJ.
Recognition, rising above award for exemplifying the school district values of kindness and respect, for being a positive school ambassador, presented to David Burko, also known as DJ apparently, Old County Roads Elementary School.
DJ's families come up here for a quick photograph if they'd like to.
Jump in, do you want me to take a picture? Yes. Cool. The whole crew.
We're going to move to Gallagher Middle School. We're going to go a little bit out of order, which is okay. I understand that one student has to get to a game, so we have to get moving. So I'd like to ask Connor Curtis, the grader, to come up with our chair. And if Dr. Brevet, come up, Mr. Bellman, if you'd like to come up as well. Principal and assistant principal. For the past 3 years, Connor has helped to make our ISC students feel welcomed in all aspects of Gallagher Middle School. He walks our students down to our room in the morning and helps them get acclimated and ready to start the day. He also helps out during physical education and adaptive physical education classes, assisting the intensive special education students with the tasks they need to accomplish. During science classes, he helps them to perform science experiments and feel connected to the classroom. He has been an integral part of helping to keep GMS unified. We are very appreciative of all that he has done for us and our students. He will certainly be missed at GMS, but the good news is he's heading to our high school.
Rising above award for exemplifying the school district values of kindness and respect, being a positive school ambassador, presented to Connor Curtis. Congratulations.
Would you like your parents to come up for a picture? Okay, that would be great.
Thank you.
So speaking of our who do a lot. They're involved in all sorts of activities, so we'll have Dr. Bouvet and Mr. McGilligan stay up here. We're going to move with 3 nominees for GMS. So I'd love for Sophia Chenault, a 8th grader, to come up front. Hello, Sophia. Sophia works hard to improve each and every day. In collaborative settings, she is positive, upbeat, a true team member who strives to include all students in the conversations as well as keeping the group focused on the work. She is a tremendous individual learner as well. She has thoughtful questions, shows detailed work, and looks to find answers when problems require perseverance. Sophia is actively engaged in classes and takes advantage of opportunities to further her understanding of the material. These qualities make her a role model for her peers. Congratulations, Sophia.
Superintendent certificate of recognition for rising above the board, exemplifying the school district values, honesty, and respect for the positive student. Congratulations. Thank you to Sophia Chenault, congratulations.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to make a picture taken? And if we can get the parents and the family to come up.
Okay, Grandma wants to as well.
I'd like to ask Blaze Manny to come up to the front. Hello, Blaze. Welcome to the front of the room. Blaze has been an exceptional peer mentor this year. He has helped out in the intensive special education classroom and has grown extremely close to a student with a visual impairment. By watching how the staff support the student, Blaze has learned and implemented techniques for working with someone with visual limitations. Building a rapport can be challenging at times, but Blaze worked at it each day. He also served as a partner athlete on our unified basketball team, and as a result has developed a beautiful friendship with the student. Blaze is kind, respectful, and dedicated, and I want to thank you, Blaze, for going above and beyond to help another student. Appreciate it.
Very cool, Blaze once saved somebody's legs. Your scout skills? Yeah, okay, get used to this then, huh? All right. Superintendent certificate of recognition, rising above award for exemplifying school district values of kindness and respect, being a positive school ambassador, presented to Blaze Manny, Galvin, Minnesota. Congratulations.
And any other family members who must be there? Please notice our professional photographers, assistant superintendent, Sarah Thank you, wonderful nominees, Dr. Bouvet and Mr. Gallivan. So congratulations to our students and their families.
Okay, so we're back on the schedule here, recognition of Pleasant View Elementary.
That would be great if Principal Vieira and Assistant Principal Krista Dahoney could join us at the front. So Pleasant View would like to spotlight Mia Anderson and Jackson Lakeway, 5th graders on the safety patrol. Mia and Jackson, you know the role. We'll get you up front. Safety Patrol Spotlight. Now these students, this is a really important role that they play. They not only, they not only look out for themselves and safe procedures, they're looking out for all students at the elementary schools. This is really a big job. We'd like to give a big thank you to our two amazing safety patrol members who go above and beyond each morning to support our students with special needs. Your kindness, patience, and dedication help make our school a welcoming place for everyone. You show what it truly means to be a leader. Keep shining and making a difference. The principals, the staff at Pleasant View, superintendent, school committee members, all of us are so proud of you. Thank you both.
Safety patrol, you guys are in charge of a lot, huh? What would happen if a bear came? Yeah, did they train you for that? No? I'm sure you'd figure it out. Superintendent Certificate of Recognition, Rising Above Award for exemplifying the school district values of kindness and respect, being a positive school ambassador, presented to Mia Anderson. Pleasure to you. Superintendent Certificate of Recognition, Rising Above Award for exemplifying the school district values of kindness and respect, being a positive school ambassador, representing to the Action Lake Elementary School.
The families would like to come up for a picture, that would be great. Hi.
They're putting that into the job specs.
Right, so we're gonna be able to operate it. Ready?
Item 8, recognition of Smithfield High School students.
This is great. I think this should just be our meeting. This is great. I'd like to call up Leah Falco to the front. And I'd also like to call up George Rawlinson as well. And I want to speak a little bit about I want to talk a little bit about this award, because this is really also another unique award. We'd like to recognize students who go above and beyond. This award is from the New England School Development Council and the National School Development Council. So these are both regional councils that your names were put forward by the counseling department at the high school. Brought to me, I absolutely certified for talking to your teachers, talking to your principal. You definitely deserve it. But I want to talk about this award, and I want to see if we can also have Principal Dan Garrity come up. So this is an award for academic growth and student leadership in learning. Both of these councils support excellence, equity, and continuous educational impact. This is presented to high school seniors who have consistently pursued a high level of academic effort and who have served as positive role models for the student body. This is not easy, so I'm going to talk about each of you, okay? Leah, I'm going to read Mrs. DiMuccio's words. I am so happy to forward Leah's name for the NSDC Award. Leah is the perfect example of a student who has consistently pursued a high level of academic excellence while demonstrating strong leadership and accomplishment. Leah's ability to communicate effectively, inspire others, and adapt to challenges truly exemplifies the spirit of a leader. Leah demonstrates a deep commitment to personal development and growth. She is constantly learning new skills, seeking feedback, and striving for excellence. Her growth mindset and resilience have made her a role model among her peers. She is a special kind of student, kind, intelligent, and always willing to put forth her very best effort in all she undertakes.
Right? Congratulations.
So this award of recognition also comes with a book, specially selected. So I'm just going to ask you if you'd stay up here for a few minutes, if you don't mind. We're going to talk about George now, so you can relax. This is coming from Mr. Lynch, okay, so I'm going to read his words. I'm pleased to nominate George Rawlinson for the NSDC Award. George is a responsible, mature, and motivated young man who has excelled in the challenging courses he has taken. George has earned an honors designation in both civics and U.S. history, and he has taken a variety of both AP and dual enrollment courses, including Law and Society and AP Literature and Composition. Also serving as the social chair for the Student Council. It's a lot of pressure. George maintains a cultural and social presence in the building. He serves as such a positive role model and leads school events by spreading kindness to others. Congratulations, George.
For academic growth and student leadership and learning, presented to George Rawlinson. Congratulations.
Both have received books. Would your families like to come up, and we'd like to get a picture with everybody. Proud former principal Julie Dorsey is also taking a picture.
With one of their phones. Taking it for them.
Okay, item number 10, introduction of new part-time photographer, assistant superintendent, Lisa Odom-Colella.
Welcome to Lisa Odom-Colella. Lisa will be joining us starting on Monday as the next assistant superintendent here. She will be working over the next couple of weeks with Dr. Sarah Monaco, who's been a great friend for both of us, and big shoes to fill, but Lisa can fill them. I'm just going to talk a little bit about Lisa's background. Not only is she going to be our new assistant superintendent, and for a short period of time, Smithfield Public Schools will actually have 2 assistant superintendents, so great for me. Lisa began her career as a math teacher at high school. There's a Woonsocket connection, I believe, within this room.
Mrs. Brianna was my Americana teacher back in 9th grade, yes.
It's a wonderful.
Small world
And
here.
Rhode Island is, yes, it is a world unto its own. In addition, Lisa was an interventionist. She was an elementary principal. She was an assistant superintendent, so she knows the job. She served in 2 different districts as assistant superintendent. And for slightly more than 3 years, she has been the deputy commissioner of the Rhode Island Department of Education. And we are so excited to welcome you here tonight, Lisa, and to have you start with our district. So I want to welcome you. The school committee certainly would like to formally welcome you as well.
Thank you so much. Great pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Item 11, discuss, review, and approve contract with NRG for natural gas supply. Yeah, the fun's over. Okay, there you go. Back to the real world. Okay.
About natural gas. Natural gas. So tonight I actually have 2 of the consultants that a few meetings ago that you approved for us to work with to enter into these supply agreements. Mr. Frank Salisbury and Mr. Bill Murray, former mayor in Conway.
Right.
So before you this evening, we have a natural gas supply from Envion is the name of the consulting firm, and we received two vendors, and the lowest cost was from the vendor NRG, formerly known as Direct Energy. You may be familiar with that.
The contract lock-in price for June 2nd was $3.85 per decatherm. The supply price is called the basis price. There's multiple layers when you're buying natural gas supply. Am I saying that accurately?
Yep.
So then the district uses approximately 24,693 decatherms annually, estimating this portion of the pricing to be at $95,068. The NYMEX pricing, New York Mercantile Exchange for commodities, including natural gas, is an additional cost estimated at $4.65 per decatherm. However, Envion is recommending to wait, spell that incorrectly, for a more favorable price before locking in this portion. So we will pay the market, correct?
Correct.
And then this would be funded on the local fund with our utilities. The Smithfield School Department is seeking approval to enter into an agreement with NRG Business Marketing for a term beginning July 1st, 2025 through June 30, 2027, as stated in the agreement that's attached, for the basis price only. And if you have any questions, I'm sure that Mr. Salter can answer. That's why I asked him to come here, because the window is a little bit above my expertise.
Questions from committee members? Look at that. You did a great job. But this will require a motion, as it says approved. A motion is here.
Motion to approve the agreement with NRG Business Marketing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further questions or comments?
One comment, sorry.
Yes.
It'll be locked in at the market rate tomorrow, correct? Because this was June 2nd.
Correct.
I just have to say that.
Okay. Everybody understand that? Tomorrow. Okay. June 6th. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against nay, the ayes have it.
Thank you.
All right. Item 12, discuss, review, and approve contract with First Point Power for energy supply.
Second contract before you this evening, same, this is supply for electricity. Again, with Envion and Environ. We've received a supply pricing from 6 vendors for periods ranging from 12 months to 42 months. The lowest cost vendor was from First Point Power. Environ is recommending entering into a 30-month agreement, 7/1/2025 through 12/31/2027. The contract lock-in price for June 2nd is .3113 per kilowatt. This price includes Environ's energy fee, ancillary costs, renewable portfolio standard costs, and capacity costs. The district uses approximately 2.29 million kilowatts annually, estimating this portion of the cost to be $71,274. There are 2 other areas that are part of the supply cost but are not favorable at this time to lock in. Energy is estimated at 7 cents per kilowatt, and a new cost to customers, and this is the part that we may need Frank to talk about, completely new to me. It's called the New England DASI program. It's also currently .007 per kilowatt, and it's been settling usually at .002. At a later date, Environ will bring forward a recommendation to lock in the rate for each when the market is more favorable. This again will be utilities out of the local fund. You have attached with you the First Point Power Agreement, standard agreement. Smithfield School Department is seeking to enter into an agreement with the First Point Power for a term beginning July 1, 2025 through December 31st, 2027, as stated in number 2C, the fixed energy charge contract price, which shall include all capacity, ISO, any ancillary and renewable portfolio standard costs, and shall equal the immediate price, tomorrow's market price per kilowatt.
Questions, school committee? I do have one. The date of December 31st, 27, is there anything strategic to doing it in the middle of the year? Better electric rates in winter versus another time, or not?
What do you,
Okay, you want to come up to the board that way?
can you repeat that?
Yeah, the contract would be 30 months, so it would end December 31st, 27.
Right.
And I'm saying, is there any strategic reason why a middle of the year, or middle of the winter, I should say, date is picked? I mean, do you expect electric rates to be better than in the summer or something? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, so normally, can you guys hear me?
Yes, very good.
Normally, there's no rhyme or reason when the best time to buy is, right? So when we looked at this, the 30-month was the most, the cheapest cost. You guys, if we included January, February of the following year, your rate was going up. And there was no reason to do it that far out. So what we'll do is once the contract's signed, we're going to start looking for more buying opportunities for the school.
So, not advantageous or disadvantage, but more of a, where your quotes came in, it was a sweet spot.
Right, in this particular instance, that was the best time.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? If not, it will require a motion.
Motion to approve contract with First Point Power for energy supply.
And a second. Motion has been made and seconded, and this is also for 6/6.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion made and seconded. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against nay, the ayes have it.
Thank you.
Item 13, 24 to 25 school improvement reports and initiatives for raising school attendance for GMS, SHS, PBES, LaPerche, and OCRS. A lot of initiatives.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have
And I'm
all of,
supposed to hit another button.
so I don't know, I think I'm presenting for my, or do we have it up there? I'm not sure.
Told me to hit that button. There we go.
Switched over anyway.
There you go. See, magic happens.
So each of our principals will be presenting, these are their school improvement plans from this year. So this is, again, the end of the year, so we can just discuss those briefly, where we are, and then also we're just going to talk about some attendance initiatives that they have done so that we can lower our chronic absenteeism. Great. Mr. Garrity?
Thank you everybody for having me. Year review, we had really ambitious goals this year for Smithfield High School. Part of our school improvement plan is that you have to have an ELA, a math, and a science goal, so you'll see that outlined in this plan. For our ELA state assessment, this is the SAT that students take in their 11th grade year. Students meeting or exceeding the expectations on that exam back in 2024 was at 60%. Our goal was to increase it by 4% to 64%. We actually hit our mark there. We moved up to 67% this past spring on the SAT. A lot of this is, we feel, because we have a very consistent curriculum now into the literature curriculum. Our team has really done a nice job of really unpacking a lot of lessons, doing lesson internalizations, and part of our goal, as you can see up there, was having like walkthroughs from both the districts and then peer-to-peer walkthroughs throughout the year. In our districts, walkthroughs were very beneficial for us as administrators to be able to really align together to make sure that we're getting feedback appropriately, and then for our teachers, doing peer-to-peer visitations was extremely beneficial. We ended up having 163 peer-to-peer visitations this year, which is just amazing. So teachers are seeing each other in the classroom, they're seeing what other teachers are doing, and they're really kind of stealing from other teachers' best practices. So for next year in our English classes, we're hoping to really focus on student ownership of their learning and really embedding authentic discussion into our ELA classes. For our math classes, this is probably our biggest area in which we need to improve as a school. Our goal is to increase students meeting or exceeding on that SAT from 30 to 34%. We were close to this goal. Well, actually, we weren't close to this goal. We did not meet this goal. We were at 27%, so we actually saw a dip. But it gives a clear vision of where we really need to go in our math classes. And we're super excited about kind of mirroring what we did in the English department, where we saw huge gains, is that the curriculum that we currently have in math is just not meeting the SAT type standards that we want students to have. And it's really not as student-centered as we want to be. So we started piloting a new curriculum called Illustrative Mathematics. It's very student-centered, student discussion, things like that. Teachers are actually, in the last 2 days in a PD regarding that curriculum, and we're rolling it out fully in all of our algebra classes next year. So we're excited to see where that's going to go, and then each year we're going to go from algebra to geometry to algebra 2. So we're excited to see how that goes and more continuity in those classes. Additionally, for the first time at Smithfield, we added intervention block for our algebra students, the students that were struggling in middle school coming up. We put them into what we call the math lab, an algebra intervention course, and a lot of those students actually did a lot better than their peers that were in that class. We're going to continue that moving forward into geometry, because that's where we're seeing a lot of students struggle on that SAT, that geometry portion, and those advanced mathematics classes. The district also, in all of Rhode Island really, they gave every district access to this thing called Khan Amigo. It's a partnership with Khan Academy. So we're revamping how we're doing some of our advisory blocks next year to really focus on these students that need the most support, and also implementing that Khan Amigo into our advisory classes. Clearly in math, we need something similar to what we had with English and the lesson internalizations. We've already started doing that in the second semester in our math classes, but we're going to really revamp what our CPTs look like, both after school and during the school day, so that teachers are really looking at data and then adjusting their instruction to fit that need. The science goal, we had a goal to increase from 39% to 43% by the end of the school year. This is the NGSA science assessment that students take both in 5th grade, 8th grade, and 11th grade. Our students, only 34% of our students met or exceeded, so we're approaching the goal, but what we did like to see in the data was that the shift between students approaching jumps significantly. So approaching meaning that they hit all the standards that they need to, jump from up to 58% from 49%. So we're there, but similar to math is that we have not had a consistent curriculum in all of our science classes. So we started this year really unpacking the Open SciEd curriculum, and every class that I've been visiting for Open SciEd has been like almost a night and day difference between what students are doing, what they're thinking about, how they're talking, and it's all related to NGSA standards. So we're fully implementing that next year in our biology classes, just like we're in our math classes we're doing in algebra. So we're really hopeful that this curriculum will help prioritize like hands-on inquiry and increase our data in our science classes. The last part of this is the college career and life readiness goal that we had. This is increasing our favorability rating on the survey that students take from 34 to 36%. These data points haven't come out for this school year yet, so we're still waiting to see where that is going or going to be. But just in terms of goals, our guidance team has really been in a 2-year program to get certified for RAMP certification. That's like basically the top of the top that you can get for a guidance department in a school. It really means that you are really pushing kids into college and careers and having great success with that. And we are on like the cusp of getting that. Our team just finished their last round of training this past week, and we're expecting to get the RAMP certification in early October, which would be a huge status for our school. Additionally, for college and career purposes, we went through, I presented recently to the school committee about our schedule change and thinking about that. Right now that is still being drafted out, but the idea of it is to get students more exposed to career options, internship options. So that is hopefully on pace to be ready for the 26-27 school year. Additionally, our CTE pathways have expanded. We have brought back our pre-engineering program, and we were awarded a grant by Project Lead the Way for engineering and as well as biomedical science. And we're going to be applying for biomedical science CTE certification next school year. With all that, again, our fail-safe for us is really thinking about student engagement. How can we get them engaged? And a lot of that is like, how can we get them to really be interested in life after high school? So that identity, belonging, engagement piece is still our number one priority in this area. And then a huge highlight for us, going on to our attendance initiatives, as Dr. Bartz mentioned earlier. Last year when I came in as principal in January 24 there, our chronic absentee rate was at 30-ish%, which is absolutely egregious for our school districts. We were able to lower that within that second semester to 25%, still not good for a school like ours. And I made an ambitious goal to lower that to 18% by year end. For the last few weeks, we were hovering around 17%. So a huge decrease in chronic absenteeism, so we're super excited about that. A lot of that was by forming an attendance team, really tracking data, really having super positive initiatives so that everyone at the school is really aware of the impacts of chronic absenteeism. So we had a battle of classes, we were giving out SHS swag, we had an attendance breakfast, all positive things related to attendance that really changed the mindset and culture of our school. And now that attendance team is really shifting to what we're calling chronic lateness, and really addressing that, because those minutes also add up instructionally to actually miss days of school. So that's going to be our huge focus going into next year, is continue to try to get that rate down and addressing our latencies. So overall, we're moving in the right direction and super excited about a lot that we accomplished this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gallagher Middle School, Dr. Ray, Mr. Gallagher.
Good evening, members of the school committee. Our first goal is related to English language arts, and the data that we have is from the 23-24 RICAS. Our goal was to improve from 51 to 54%. Based on those results, we did not meet that. We're at 48%. From this school improvement plan, we do continue to meet with our teachers. They have 5 times over a 2-week period where they're working together. They're working with myself as the ELA content lead, as well as our coordinators to internalize lessons and units. From there, we're also working on our interventions program, which is Lexia. This is, I think, our 3rd or 4th year using it. And at this point, it's been ingrained in our culture. So that's a program where students are able to take a pre-assessment. It identifies their needs, and then they work on that during their interventions class. Part of our Lexia is that we do get 2 hours of training every year, so our teachers do complete that this year. Another component of this goal is our social studies curriculum. So this was the first year that we had a green rated high quality curriculum in social studies. It was from H&H. This year I worked with our social studies content lead, Victoria Ferreira, to implement that program across all grade levels. We've had 2 different walkthroughs where we provided some feedback to teachers. It has a lot of different resources in there, whether that be text questions, primary sources. So now next year we're working on expanding that.
Taking a look at math and science results here. For our math goal, it was 41 to 44% was our goal to try to reach. We did come up with all 3 grades total was 45.7.
So we did achieve that goal of 44%. Individually, we had the 8th grade came in at 48.8. This is the 23-24 results. Obviously, we don't have this year's results. 7th grade was at 44.6, and grade 6 was 43.6. So very pleased to see us reaching that goal that we had set for ourselves. Obviously, we still want to improve in math, but that was important to actually work with that. And we've been using illustrative math, so it's nice now that the high school is adapting the same program. So our 8th graders are just in pre-algebra and illustrative, and now they're going into algebra 1 for illustrative, so it'd be nice to see that they're already used to and comfortable with the program, so that's also going to help out the high school teachers as well. So that's a good thing for the district to go through that. As Kyle said, when it comes to common planning time, we have a structure where every other day, the 2 math teachers in each grade level get to meet. We do that with all the content, so that's 5 times every 2 weeks that those 2 teachers are together, reviewing the lessons, lesson internalization, going through things and planning. So there's a lot of collaborative time that really helps us be that consistent. And then it's pretty much 7 times a year they meet vertically, where we have grade 6, grade 7, and grade 8 in the content areas meeting. So that helps that alignment in both horizontally and vertically. So we're really pleased that we have that. Continue to have that built-in structure. This year when we did walkthroughs, Wendy Phillips, our math science coordinator, and myself, were going through doing the walkthroughs in math, and we were focused on this one area where it says the teacher makes the mathematics of the lesson clear through the use of explanations, representations, tasks, and or examples. So when we did the walkthroughs, we just focused on that piece, and were able to provide them meaningful feedback that they can then implement any changes within their classes. So we're very pleased with that, and they're very open through that. Similar to Lexia, we've been using the ALEX program, which is an online math program where they can be assigned tests and readiness examples, and they can do practice on their own independently. That is meeting each student's needs where they are. So we have some students that are really advanced, and they're able to get pushed in their thinking as well. So it's not just for students who struggle. It's also helping students that excel in mathematics to go through that. In science, we had set a goal for science to be from 41 to 44 by the end of the 2025 school year. I will say, I won't give you any numbers, but I just will say, I was able to call Dr. Monaco to say that preliminary review of just what we can see off the site will make people happy. Just saying that way without giving any more details about the non-official results or anything, but I think that goes a lot to our science teachers using the open SciEd and having those conversations with each other. They're really focusing. You see a lot more, not that they didn't do it before, but a lot more hands-on work by the students, and students having conversation about what they've been doing in science to go through that. We've already had, this right time of year, we've done the rocket project where the 8th graders go out and launch rockets that they build. That's still something we've done for many years, but the kids really get excited about that. And they're really, I was in class where they're all talking and groups working, and how long to make the string to tie the parachute. Well, we're going to be moving from this part to tie. There was one student that even made a comment, well, we put our parachute in first instead of using the other part of it, because we felt, I think the parachute is more important than those other things. So I'm going to build that first. So it was just interesting to see how we're having different conversations about it. But we're seeing that in all that they do in the science classes. So we're very pleased with that. We did have our science teachers, we're lucky to have a person we work with from RIDE actually do a walkthrough and provide each group of teachers by grade level feedback, but also met with each individual teacher to give them feedback. So that was very helpful, and we appreciated that. So we're excited about what we're seeing in science and math.
Our last goal is focused on student engagement. So like Mr. Garrity had said, SurveyWorks is not out yet, so we don't have that data yet. But just one call out that we do have from internal data is our students take a connection survey at the end of each year, where they identify a staff member that they have a connection with. And 97% of our students identified at least one adult that they could go to. So we have our list now of students that don't, and our counselors are working with them, but I think that's telling about our community. One of our first initiatives here is with attendance. So we do have an attendance team that meets bi-weekly. That attendance team is our guidance counselor, school nurse, and myself. Just as a comparison, my first year here was last year. We made 190 contacts with families during that school year, whether that was phone calls, text, meetings, emails. This year, we were at 325, so we almost doubled it. And because of that, our chronic absenteeism is down to about 11% today. It was about 15, 16% last year. The other part of our goal is AWOD. AWOD will be sunsetting. That program is no longer being offered by the Anti-Defamation League. So our school was trained on the ruler method, which is a social emotional learning program. So that will be our goal next year. That's a very easy to implement program. Myself, 2 teachers from our school were sent to Yale, and it's going to be used to basically improve our emotional intelligence as people, both for our staff and for students. So we're working on it.
Did you say ruler?
Ruler,
As
yes.
in 12?
It looks like a ruler, and it's not like ruler, but recognizing emotions, understanding emotions.
It's a
leveraging.
coordinate plane.
Yes.
Actually, it's a coordinate plane, but it's really for you to figure out which quadrant you're landing in based on your emotions and how you're feeling, and really kind of helping people be in touch and helping people develop skills so that they feel like they're getting angry or upset, how we can deal with things before they do something that they regret to do that. So we'll be starting that in the fall, working with our staff to go through and then implementing it through the school year. And that'll be done as part of our advisory, which was where AWOD was done as well, to go through that. But we have a group of teachers that are going to work with Kyle to kind of create our whole implementation plan. How do we roll this out to the kids? How do we roll out to the staff? So next year is going to be like our initial to try, and then I would anticipate the following year we would be like in full implementation mode and working through that. So we're excited to have that.
Thank you.
She's driving.
You're driving?
No, you're driving.
I am. Okay, well, I can drive this.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know they were.
Julie,
must
okay,
have
we're
been.
connected. Okay. Hi, everybody, I'm Julie Dorsey, and so Perch, Old County, and Pleasant View all have similar goals because what we want to happen in one elementary school, we want it to happen in all of them. We don't want one third grade to look different than other third grades, right? We want the same expectations, the same curriculum. And speak also to you, Lisa. Okay, so first of all, our first goal, I'm here to talk about our first goal, which is on academic excellence and student learning and ELA specifically. And we don't have as great results as the other schools shared, unfortunately. So our goal is always 2 or 3% increase every year. That's what Brian wants to set. We would love to see higher than that. Each one of our schools dropped a little bit, and so it's our job to dig into that and figure out why. One positive thing is once you take RICAS for 2 years in a row, you get a growth score, and so our growth is showing nice gains. The scores overall dropped, as you can see, 56 to 55, 49 to 45, you can see them up there. But the growth scores are showing some significant gains. Now, it might be the students who scored 2 or 1, maybe not the students who met or exceeded, but across the board, the growth scores are going up, which is awesome. So how are we going to improve this academic excellence focused on ELA? We had 2 initiatives this year. First initiative was a partnership with Providence College and the American Institute for Research, and it was to train teachers on the SRSD approach, which you can see up there is called Self-Regulated Strategy Development, which is an approach to writing. Okay? Underneath that initiative, we had action steps. Our first action step was to train lead teachers. So in each of our buildings, we have lead teachers, 2 in each building, who received online training, but they also received training from the SRSD facilitators. And then it became the train-the-trainer model. They came back to the schools and trained teachers at different grade levels. The research study dictated to us which grade levels we had to train. We did not get to choose that, which is fine. So Old County and the Perch, we had to train K to 2. We had to implement SRSD in those grades, and Pleasant View was 3rd through 5th. Great news, it's a 2-year grant, so we will be training the other half of the building this next year. So half of the school will be on year 1, half of the school will be on year 2, which was great. So part of that, those action steps were these lead teachers going into classrooms, modeling lessons, and also conducting observations and giving feedback to teachers. You've heard a lot from the other schools as well about the importance of coaching and modeling and having teachers with
teacher. She had piloted the program the year prior, and so when she then became the lead teacher, she was very comfortable opening her classroom to people from the Perch as well across the district to come and see her in action, because that's so helpful. I'm a visual learner, that's how I learn. The teachers appreciated that, and she went into classrooms, modeled for them, or observed them, gave them feedback, same at the other schools. The next part of that is, part of SRSD, so the unique part of SRSD is the regulation piece. So there's a lot of modeling. Teachers across the board were a little bit nervous as they implemented it because it was a lot of teacher modeling, and the kids were observing, the kids are absorbing, but not doing as much writing, and they were starting to panic, like, oh, there's not as much writing going on. Now, we just had data days on Tuesday and Thursday at the Perch, and they were singing the praises, right? Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what the kids produced at the end, and how much they internalized it, and how excited they are for writing. Along with this comes chants that they do. It's specific graphic organizers, so through kindergarten through fifth, they'll use these same graphic organizers, the same language. So it won't be, oh, this teacher's way, this teacher's way. No, this is the way that we teach writing. They've internalized these graphic organizers, so when they come to a type of writing, they know what type of formula to use, and it just helps them tremendously. The other piece of the regulation, so writing's the hardest thing for kids, right? If you think about yourself as a writer, maybe you're a good one, maybe you're not. It stresses people out, so part of it, the modeling, when teachers are modeling, they're saying out loud to the kids, to themselves, they're acting, and like, oh, this is so hard for me, but I can do hard things. I can do this. Come on, you can do this. And so they do that for the kids. They show their frustration. They show how anxious they can get, but they can overcome. They take a deep breath. They use their strategies, and then the kids are doing this. So the kids set these small goals, and they measure their progress, and then they see, oh, I can do this. I can do hard things. I can persevere through. So that's the whole regulation piece that comes with it. It's awesome. The next steps are happening with our pre-K to 12 ELA curriculum person, Carlton Bradshaw, the day after school gets out. Lead teachers from each grade level are meeting with Carlton to look at our ELA curriculum, which is ReadyGen, and to overlay SRSD onto it. So to see what should the order be of the way that we teach these different genres, when we teach the writing, beginning, middle, end of the year, and so the teachers, while it's still fresh, are going to do this work with them. So it's going to be awesome. Put it all in our curriculum documents. We come back in the fall with great things for teachers to hit the ground running. Not the fall, the summer. We'll get back in the summer. Okay. Initiative 2 was implementing U-Fly Foundations program in kindergarten through second. So in the past, for years, we've had foundations, F-U-N. Now we have foundations, F-O-U. Okay. U-Fly is the University of Florida Learning Institute, right? Yeah, University of Florida Learning Institute. And so they put out this program, which is a systematic approach to learning how sounds and letters go together to make words to become a reader. And they put this program out there for free. It's amazing, research-based, and it has wonderful slideshows that go with each lesson. And it's a light load for teachers because all of our teachers in Smithfield are science of reading trained. So if you're science of reading trained, you can pick up the U-Fly manual and go for it because you know about syllable types and you know about how all these letters and sounds work. So our teachers were, they were implementing it K to 2. Again, I just had data days, and the kindergarten team is, every kid can read. You cannot believe these results. They threw the PWR, our end of year assessment. I mean, everybody's off the charts on what they learned. The teachers were so excited. Second grade, excited, but they had some pacing things that they want us to work on. So of course we're listening to that as well. Another thing with this is similar, where we have our reading teachers and our teachers from, at the Perch, it's a reading teacher. At other schools, it's classroom teachers who are very knowledgeable in U-Fly. So again, they went in and modeled lessons. If you've never taught U-Fly, you might be a little concerned. The reading teachers right in there modeling the lesson or coming in also and giving them feedback. Again, we've got this great coaching model going on with lead teachers. And in both places, we are using something called the student work analysis protocol. So this is a protocol we've been using for years and years. So you give a writing assessment, you get all of these results, you take the 3 of them and you sort them into 3 groups. Kids not meeting expectations, partially meeting, meeting and exceeding. As the teacher, you take those groups and you're looking and saying, okay, why are these kids not reading? Is that a spell?
It's a bug, and I can't believe, of all people, I just killed it. Can we just get that on record? I'm very afraid of insects.
It's
I
been
let,
that way the
I
whole
let a
time.
spider last through the entire meeting, you know, so.
Usually I scream and memorize. Good job. Okay, so this protocol, right, so you have your 3 stacks of work that usually is done, and as the teacher, you're looking and saying, okay, what are the trends? Why are these kids not making it? What instructional strategies am I going to put in place? And for my kids partially meeting and my kids who are meeting and exceeding, you do all of that and you come back and see if your results worked, right? Because the next writing assessment, you're gonna see what percentage of kids you have in each category. We use a student work analysis protocol across, we've been using it for years, and we use it across all content areas. Okay, and that's it. So, next slide is where Dr. Bartz wants us to talk to you about attendance. So LaPerche, that's our attendance information there. So at LaPerche and all of the schools, all 5 of the schools, right, especially elementary, we really try to create a fun and engaging environment. We want kids to want to come to school, right? So we want to have fun things going on. You all sit down. I know she said 5 minutes, but I'm trying to, I timed myself 3 times. I was at 8 minutes and I tried to leave us. Okay, build strong relationships, all that, blah, 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 blah. You see all those great things we do. And right now, 10% of students are chronically absent at LaPerche. There's 34 kids who are chronically absent at LaPerche. Not acceptable, okay? Why? We have vacations up the wazoo at LaPerche. Everybody at LaPerche takes family vacation. They take a 5-day, a 7-day, a 10-day. You guys are LaPerche parents, you know, right? They just do. And we try to tell them, wonderful, enjoy that vacation, go on it, enjoy it, but please then don't take mental health days, and please don't take all these other days off, right? Because you have to have 18 days to be chronically absent, and we do have 34 kids. So we also have 13 out of 34 of those kids are preschoolers, and they're really learning how to come to school and make school an expectation. So we're gonna work on that for our preschoolers, but when we looked at the 34, there are 5. We do have 5 students who are a major concern, that we're working with families, meeting with families, supporting families, trying to get kids excited about being here, and you can see the process we go through, and then sometimes it does end up in final insurance, because that might be the only way to get kids to school. But we're at 10%, that's what we have, and pass the baton. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know, I don't play.
So I have goal number 2, which is our math goal. So a little bit about the schools in math from 2022-23, so not this year, but the year before. Peeves went up 11% in math. Old County went up 11.2% in math, and LaPerche stayed the same, but stayed the same at 51% in math. That's someone added in on my slide there. But we had 2 initiatives this year for implementing Eureka 2, as well as interventions in the classroom. So some action steps that we have done this year is facilitating CPTs by administrators. Wendy Phillips has come and really led that work with our teachers of diving into the Eureka curriculum to internalize those lessons prior to the teachers working in their classroom and then working in the classroom. And that has really helped on the teachers understanding the content of the lesson, which was part of our walkthroughs. So oftentimes the facilitated CPT went first, then we conducted the walkthrough right after, where we were really able to see the teacher and provide feedback right to the teacher of, this is an area that we have a growth, this was a shining moment. The instant email to the teacher really highlighted so that she didn't wait, or he didn't wait for the feedback back. We had great surveys that came back from the teachers at the end of the year, where I know at Old County, a lot of the teachers were accepting of the feedback and wanted it to continue. So that showed that that great work was happening, and we had a lot of teachers that highlighted how much feedback they brought into their classroom for that time for students to increase their discourse, as well as having the conceptual learning. The next part of it was updating all of the curriculum documents. So our grade levels all have Google-specific classrooms for math, but that provides an opportunity for teachers across the district to communicate within one grade level. We're able to put all of the content there. If we see a hiccup in an assessment or a content quiz, we're able to shout it out, and everyone gets an email alert of their Google Classroom so that they know. As well as the district curriculum site. So all of the My Math was removed, and all of the Eureka Square is up there. So they have like a one-stop shop for all of that curriculum, but then the Google Classroom is a helpful guide with all resource teachers and our special educators who are offering that within small groups for their IEPs, but we also use that for our after-school program for math. So if our students were a targeted student that was coming because of their gap showing with their STAR data, they were actually able to come and have targeted instruction with the Bridges curriculum after school.
I think you're good.
All right. I'm gonna just go to the Old County Road.
Perfect.
So a little bit about Old County. Old County is the one elementary school that does have a school improvement plan for attendance. So the school improvement plan was to decrease chronic absenteeism from 14 to 12%. As of this morning, I'm at 11%. That we reduce chronic absenteeism. Yes, I came in mid-November. So it's been a lot of work of creating a culture of understanding chronic absenteeism. Once you're in chronic absenteeism, you don't stay there unless you're at 18 days. So yes, you might be chronic, but you're recoverable. So having that knowledge to parents and to students that yes, you're chronic, but we can repair this and this is how, is really what I've been doing to really educate the parent, but also the student. And the student is able to meet one-on-one with me. We develop a plan together. We kind of do a 10-day sticker chart, because with the RIDE portal, every 10 days is how you can get out of it. So we're on a 2-week plan, a 10-day plan, and then when the child gets out of it, it's a big celebration, but child and myself, we don't want to publicize it. In order to be on that chart, I do call a parent ahead of time, and a lot of parents are like, yes, or they've been really sick. But once you start to educate a little bit of, this isn't a long-term thing, we can get out of it. We're at 12 days, it might be a 3-week cycle, it might be a 4-month cycle, but we can get out of it. Another thing that we have been doing a lot is the attendance team meeting every single week. So every single week we meet the social worker, the psychologist, and the nurse, and we go over every single student that is flagged for chronic absenteeism. One thing I did see at the end of this year was we need to start pulling the data for who's at 10 days or 8 days, because then you go on the 5-day vacation and now it's too late, right? Or you were at 13 and now you need 15 days to be chronic, and then you went away and now I don't have you. So that was some feedback of what we're going to improve for next year. But we do send communications in to my teachers, and I let them know this is how many students we have chronic, how many did it go up or down from last week, how much did we improve compared to where we were last year, and how many non-recoverable chronic absenteeism students do we have. So these are the students that are chronic and are going to remain chronic. We do send the nudge letters, soft letters, hard letters, and this year we develop and send home vacation letters. So when we are caught wind of a student that is going to go on a vacation, yes, we want you to go on a vacation, but still sending that letter so that they know, hey, you've been at 11 days, we can't get to 18. We love the vacation, just we can't be at it. We got to keep coming to school. One student went on 2 vacations, 17 days. He's no longer chronic because he continued to come and having that conversation with the family of really understanding what it means to be chronic. So we do develop plans with the family. We have the family come in, we talk about what are the school action plan, what is the parent action steps, what is the student action steps, and what do you need me to do to help you? So those meetings are really helpful because we get to learn a little bit about the student and the troubles in the morning. Separation anxiety, doesn't like the school bus, so what can we do to support the student through those struggles? A big thing that we've been doing to highlight attendance is our monthly trophies that we do during the Student of the Month, and we really compete on how many absences that the students have in the classroom, and whoever has the highest attendance percentage wins the trophy for the month, and the students are really excited because they keep the trophy in their classroom for the whole month, and then we have a giant one for school-wide highest attendance, but these percentages are like 92, 6 days, 5 days, where they're really learning about how chronic how absenteeism works, but we're in this group together. And then the daily meetings that I have with the students have been helping. So right now with 11%, we're at a good point. I'm going to go back up for you.
So our third goal for LaPerche, Old County, and Pleasant View is our social emotional learning goal. And our initiative was to provide everyday speech, which is a high-quality SEL curriculum in grades K through 5. All of our action steps have been completed. The purchase of the program for all
teachers in K to 5, access to the online program in the summer, as well as training for all of our staff, individual and small group instruction for our Tier 2 and our Tier 3 students by clinicians, consistent communications with families through our Thrill Share newsletter, and that ongoing professional development. Some of the lessons that students had access to this year were self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, responsible decision-making. Each of us at our schools, again, put those type of blurbs in our monthly newsletter for the specific grades and the skill focus. For our attendance matters at Pleasant View, we are currently at 6% of students are chronically absent at Peeves. We've been #1 on the state leadership board many days this school year. The state average is 24.7% of students are chronically absent. Kristen developed a Best Attendance Award, so there's just a picture of Mrs. Baudette and one of the awards that her class received for having great attendance for the month of April. Here's just some historical data on chronic absenteeism at Peeves. So we've dropped from 8.3 and we're currently at 6%. Some of the trends we noticed are students that have appointments that can't be scheduled before school or after school, such as OT, PT, therapy. Our students with autoimmune diseases, they have compromised systems, they're out more frequently. We love to update our board at the front of the school with our attendance and reminding students about being on time. What is going well with our attendance? We gather our data, we go through it monthly. On our team is Mrs. Dahoney, Mrs. Ross, Mrs. Perpoli, Mrs. Travis. We actually added a custodian to it this year along with our social worker and classroom teachers. So when we see trends in classrooms, the norovirus, we get the custodian in there. We see trends in first grade with COVID in the winter, or problems with the flu. We get Mrs. Travers in those lower grades teaching them how to wash their hands. That's it. Any questions for us?
Thank you. I have a question. Early on, it was mentioned, I think I might know the answer, but I'd like you to explain. Early on, it said scores were down, but growth is up. So now my hunch is, the growth measures, okay, I'm a student and instead of getting 10 on the test, I got 20, so I had a lot of growth. But I still didn't pass the test. So is that the internal, is that where the growth is internally in the actual measurements, even though a number of kids are not passing?
So the growth score, you are compared as, so a third grader takes RICAS, they are compared to other third graders across the state of Rhode Island who score the same as them. And then when they're in fourth grade, they compare, the growth score compares those kids to say, okay, you were at the score you were, are you keeping up with the people who were at that score? Are you falling below them and not keeping up, or are you surpassing them? And so you could have scored a 1, 2, 3, or 4 on RICAS and had low growth, typical growth, or high growth.
And so it has nothing to do with whether you pass.
Has nothing to do with
how
whether
you
you
did,
pass.
you get a growth score based on where you were the prior year.
Yes, so that's why third graders will never have a growth score because they've only taken the test one time.
Right,
But then once they take it in fourth, they get a growth score.
and so a number of our students had growth from the prior year, just weren't passing the test.
Yes, had high growth, we were glad to
Or,
see.
I say passing, you know what I mean.
Yeah, passing is a 3 or a 4,
Right,
a 1
okay.
or a 2 is not.
So I thought of it, but I just want to make sure.
Yes, and we did also, our kids with identified needs also have really high growth, which was just awesome. Because you're giving a student who has a learning disability a test on their grade level, taking away all the supports that you give them and saying, well, here you go, take this test. And then they score a 1 or score a 2, but when they're compared to other kids who score the same, similar age, our special ed kids presentation.
That was a great 5 minutes. No, it was great to hear a lot about the absenteeism. It seems like in most areas it is trending in the right direction. Obviously, we all know that the more that the kids are in the school, that the better the rest of the scores that are related to that will be. One thing, it would be really good to see the actual numbers next to the growth. So I think for many of these slides, we saw what the previous was and what our goal was to increase to, but not what it is right now. And I know some of those numbers are still coming out. So it'd be great to have that all together once it's there, so we can just have a more holistic look at everything. And I just love to hear more about the continuation of the curriculum. Dr. Bovee mentioned, you know, the change in the 8th grade and then that correlation to hopefully making that smooth right into the high school. Obviously, that seems like it'd be beneficial to everybody. So thank you very much for the effort that was put into this. And again, the attendance, we know that is the most critical thing, because if they're not in school, none of this is working. So thank you for your efforts there.
Any further questions? Okay, we are going to move on to item 14, presentation of the 2025-26 food service program.
We do have a presentation for this. Mike, do I need to put it up on my screen or?
You have it on the first one?
Put it on the first one. Put it on the first one. Look at that.
Hi, I'm Will Fritz, chef here in Smithfield, and yeah, all right, I got some pictures and stuff for making you like. So we've been your partner for 7 years, and our breakfast meal participation has been 10% this year. We serve about 25,000 meals each month. Lunch, we do about 1,000 between the 5 schools every single day. Pizza day, we do almost 14,000. That's a big day. Or 1,400. Yeah.
That's like,
Oh,
that's
yeah. It's like 3,000. Yeah, we took everybody in. Yeah.
It's like the whole football team eating like 7 pizzas.
Lunch is at 45.2%, and we have 17 associates, and we operate 180 days a year. Yeah, this year we brought in $75,165 in rebates for the district, serving reimbursable meals. And we're going to highlight some local events that we were able to do through grants and other things like that. So Apple Crunch Day, we were able to source apples from Steer Farm and cider from Jaswell's for the high school. But every kid between all 5 schools was able to have an apple, whether they got lunch or not, and we were all able to bite it at the same time. Then we were able to get the foam out grant, and that has made us able to use reusable trays, silverware, and we installed a dishwasher at Gallagher Middle School. And then Sarah and I won a Healthy Meals Incentives Recognition Award. And we highlighted our butternut squash from Chardner's Farm. Our taco beef was sourced from Blackbird, right down the road. And then we made a pico de gallo with Chardner's, onions, and Wardsberry Farm tomatoes. And then you can see the picture at the bottom there was actually our local tacos that we served. That was at Gallagher's. They had like it's like an orientation for 5th graders and incoming people from other towns. And then we also did it at the Sentinel Showcase at the high school. And then here are some numbers. So meals served year to date, we're at 203,188. And so we're up 2,000 compared to last year. Revenue is also up compared to last year. We did have to use more funds, but that's due to price increases and others. Price increases mainly, stuff like that. And then our return is going to be less than last year, but that is due to a raise for our 17 employees. And then meal served is up, and I believe actual enrollment in the school is down, so compared to last year, so that's cool to see that we're actually serving a higher percentage. Yeah, revenue's up. We had to use more funds naturally because things cost more, and then our projection is still in the positive despite a raise across the board. And then we have our year-to-date breakfast served at 29,000. Compared to last year, where we're at 25,000. Lunch to date is 143,000 compared to 139. And then our year-end projections are going to be above what they were last year. And then I have some fun stuff. So we did open houses. No, this was parent-teacher conferences at all the schools. We put together a to-go butternut squash soup kit, which was all sourced locally. And then at the bottom picture there, we did a local home fry tasting because the kids were growing potatoes at the elementary schools in their gardens, so we wanted to show them what they could do with potatoes. And then with Farm to Seed School in Farm Fresh, Rhode Island, we were able to bring into Old County School some instructors, and they worked with the 5th graders to put together. They all brought in recipes. The recipes were voted on. They were able to taste 2, and then one was called mashi. It is it's Egyptian. It's like a stuffed cabbage, but a little different. So it's like rice, meat, onions, peppers, and then we did to keep it local. We did a locally Gotham green lettuce leaf that they could stuff it into. Yeah, so we did that one there. We did a tasting of that at Old County, and then I believe the committee got to try it one morning at Old County, no? Yeah, the wellness committee, sorry, different committee.
Students take charge
Yeah,
program.
yeah. So that was cool. But this was all funded through HMI grants and RFA.
Action for Healthy Kids.
Yeah, so without those, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of things that we can do. And then, so then up top picture there is monkfish, which we got no charge. Monkfish is overabundant species of fish here in Rhode Island, and Farm Fresh is trying to incorporate it more into schools and seeing if kids liked it. So we're able to do a tasting at Pleasant View and the high school. So we put together some tacos, and it went over pretty well. We'll see if I believe we did it at Gallagher the year before, so we'll see how it comes. And then that turkey over there, that's a local turkey from, it's in Johnston.
Buffoni.
Yeah, Buffoni. You should have seen them. They were like 25-pound turkeys. We had to clear out the whole oven. But La Perche does their Thanksgiving feast every year, so we're able to do a local turkey carving to go inside with that. And then we also did that tasting, I believe it was at Old County as well, on a separate time. And then we have some upgrades coming. Gallagher Middle School is going to get a fresh new serving line to hopefully keep the line moving faster. And they're also getting new, they call them air screen refrigerators. You might see them in like a gas station. It's just open air, so they can grab drinks and the parfaits, salads, sandwiches. And then the high school, they're actually doing a lot of work in there. We're getting a bunch of new equipment. They're putting in a new hood. I think gas is being run into it as well. So that's a big upgrade for us. And then you can see in that picture bottom left there is a rotisserie oven that has already arrived as part of that upgrade. We haven't used it yet, we're waiting, but that will allow us to get local chickens, turkeys, cook them whole. We can roast potatoes and other stuff like that, and the kids, it's in view of the kids so they can see it, and that will also just cut down on meal prices and get us away from using chicken patties and chicken nuggets and stuff like that. Yeah, then just a few notes. I like the partnerships with the school gardens. We were able to do a lot with that, even just showing kids, like maybe we'll do tomatoes or show them how pizza sauce is made, something like that. And then the equipment, again, we'll broaden the menu. And then I know the people from Farm Fresh wanted to extend the student take charge to other schools, and we'll see what happens with that.
Thank you very much. Right on to 15, which discuss, review, and approve the 2025-26 food service contract renewal charters.
The Smithfield School Department is requesting the school committee's approval to renew the food service agreement with Chartwell's for the 25-26 year. All renewal documentation must be approved by RIDE. It has, you'll see the letter in your packet. Chartwell is the statewide selected vendor. Smithfield will be entering into its 5th and final year. RIDE would have to go out to bid again. They've been doing the statewide bid for a number of cycles, probably about 15 years altogether. So food service contracts are typically awarded as a single year agreement with 4 optional renewal years. For a total of 5 before RIDE or the district issue a new RFP. The school nutrition program operates as an enterprise fund which is expected to be self-operating. In anticipation of the pandemic relief funds sunsetting, the expansion of a full-time chef and part-time director will have to change. The plan is to operate with a full-time director chef and add of an administrative assistant to the Chartwell team. When the relief funds were allotted, Smithfield expanded to this full-time chef. Unfortunately, even with the meal price increases, the district cannot afford to keep staff as it has for the last 40 years. For FY26, Chartwell's is budgeting a small loss of $5,500 for food service operations. We are hopeful that the new equipment will improve participation and change this loss to a profit. In your packet, you have the renewal documents. You have RIDE's approval that they have approved our renewal packet and contract. So motion forth is the Smithfield School Department seeking the approval to renew Chartwell's as the food service management company to operate the school breakfast and lunch program for the 25-26 fiscal year.
Questions? I do have one. You first.
I don't have any questions, I'll let yours. I hear from the schools sometimes that when we're trying to put on types of special events and whatnot, that we're prohibited by this contract from bringing in outside food. And while I certainly want to make sure that we are using, our internal company with Chartwell's and that we're partnering with them with everything, I do feel like sometimes we're limiting events outside of that. So I couldn't find the specific language in this contract that cited that specifically, so I would want to just review that piece, if you can help me understand where it is in here and if there's any leeway to just have some flexibility with that. Again, I want the majority of everything to go to them, however, I think there are occasions when we want to be able to have a little flexibility to use an external service.
Correct. So what you have in front of you is a renewal, so all of you see in front of you are the changes. So we have to pull the original from 5 years ago, pre-made, which I can go and do that for you. However, so it depends on when the event is. If the event, so the whole idea of the school nutrition program is to generate the revenue. They struggle, all school nutrition programs struggle. Over the last few years with the pandemic, in the students when they ate free, and there was lots of funds that were given to the food programs. This is why you see a lot of districts are improving with new equipment, which is great, which is wonderful, and hopefully that will improve, as you saw Will mention about the fresh farm and all that things, and then the partnerships that the district here have been putting together. I think what's happening is when we have the wellness policy that we want to encourage to ensure that we're following any kind of events that we have, that we're following the wellness policy if it's during the school day. If it's an event after school, it's more than likely that you can do something that's outside of the Chartwell's program. So I would have to go pull and see what, because there might be some slight differences, and so I'd have to pull the original contract to see that. And the whole idea of Chartwell's having it is to give them the opportunity to serve. They follow our wellness policy, they follow all the agreements with USDA, it's a federal program.
Is that student specific? Some of the events that were provided to me as examples had to do with the teachers as well.
No, we never, it's not, yeah, it's
Right,
student
that's what I
driven,
thought.
yeah.
This was like for
So-
a year-end event for
Right,
staff,
so a
give an
year-end
example
event
of
for
the
staff, basically, I don't think that's, yeah, so if we could have that conversation,
Yeah,
maybe
no,
that
that
you
would be
could
great.
let me know
Sure.
where it was limited for you. And again, we wanna support the program because the program brings money, so it's not a Chartwell's program, it's a Smithfield program. Chartwell's runs on our behalf, so when we're, bringing a program to the district that, generates, revenue for us, it's going back in to improve the program for our students. That's, a lot of people have the misconception that whatever the food service company is that runs in their district, they're making the money, and it's really, they have a fee that's set, by, rules that RIDE, has to approve and things like that. So for an adult event, I know that sometimes, we may do something together, and we've gone out and we've purchased our own money.
Right.
We've gone and had pizza, right? We've gone and eaten pizza, we brought it back, the three of us, we built a team at our office pizza, we didn't get it from Chartwell's, but that was just us. But we have done Chartwell's parties too, just to change it up. So we do try to support the program as much as we can, but I believe, and I will pull that information for you.
Thank you.
So my question is, as opposed to outside, my question is actually inside. Now, we are, launching a culinary program, and I'm sure, and I am aware that all this is the contract renewal, so this is not the full document that was
Correct.
full contract. And that's out there, this is a renewal attached to it. So the full document has probably something called a non-compete clause or something similar
I'll pull that.
in there. And that's important, but what I don't want us to get into is some problem that the culinary program, we want to do something with it, that we'll say it's good, but now it comes into the non-compete, And I understand why non-compete programs are in there, I'm in business, I know those things, I know what they serve. But I want to see where we're at and how much flexibility or not. So because of that, and we have a meeting next week, what I would like to do is see this table. Let's see what the language is, and let's see where we are, so that we can then move forward to approve.
Sure. But if I may add though, so the CTE programs, there's multiple CTE programs that run across the state.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of an issue with that. And I do know that the CTE programs are able to do other events. We can certainly pull and see what those limits are. Basically, the program, again, you have schools that have, and I remember from when I was in school a long time ago, the deca stores used to sell snacks, right? In my days, it was the real Doritos and, not the 100 calories, and, it was the candies, the Swedish fish and all that stuff that you don't have today, but they still have those things around, so I will pull that, I agree.
Yeah, I just want to, I'm not against it, I want to see where it is, because I just
wanna be,
there was one of the business clubs had a thing a few years ago where they set up a coffee shop and all that, and they sold coffee and cookies or whatever it
I
was.
remember that,
And
I
it
remember
got shut
seeing
down.
that. It got shut down, I think, because students can't have coffee.
Oh, well, okay, well, they were told other things too, but anyhow,
Yeah.
nonetheless, I get you. So let's just see where it is,
Absolutely.
and that way we can approve it knowing we're not gonna run into a roadblock. That's all on that.
Absolutely, I will pull that and we'll have it tomorrow.
Similar here too, they used to run an out of the way cafe where kids of all abilities used to make food and then sell it to the different classrooms on their Friday mornings. I remember looking forward to it and seeing the kids learn life skills or whatever else. So making sure too that doesn't impact the potential of.
And it may be something that we have to eat it for a year. Next year will be a rebid, and maybe, but let's at least know what we're going.
I just want to clarify that piece, because we're talking about kind of two different things. So one has to do with what you're talking about, which is like the non-compete Chartwell's. The other has to do with the types of food that are served during the school day. That's a federal thing and is part of the USDA guidance. And so we risk by serving something like coffee and creamer and with the sugars, I don't know all the rules because they're abundant. We risk losing our money from the federal
But
government.
can we sell Swedish fish?
We
Just have to get a visa.
Are they made with beets, Richard? I don't know. If you can find a natural sell Swedish fish, right? So again, I was certainly, I'm happy to get you any information.
Yes, well, I just recommend that if we could just
Because you want to
table it
understand,
for one meeting.
absolutely.
That's all,
It's
so
been,
for our next
a
meeting.
while since I've seen an original. But I will have that tomorrow to Dawn. I will certainly pull it. I'll actually reach out to, I can't find a file in this office. So I'll pull you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bright and early. Let me have an email.
Sounds good.
But yeah, we'll get that, but Dr. Monaco's absolutely right. It's more about, I remember the coffee, I remember Mr. Winfield was there and like kind of promoting donating the machines, and it was about the caffeine and the USDA. So during school hours, there are limits too,
Right.
aside from the program. So we will get that for you, absolutely.
So then if we could, if you agree, then we would have a motion to table for 1 week and we'll deal with it for our next meeting, I should say.
So do you want me to make a motion to table food service contract renewal for Chartwell's 2025-26
Yeah.
school year? Second.
Okay, motion has been made to table it. Then we'll take it up at our next meeting. Any further questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against nay, the ayes have it. We'll move on to item 16. Discuss, review, and approve the fiscal year 25 budget transfers.
I have none at this time.
None, so there's nothing we need to vote on. Look at that. Boy, we're rolling along here. Item 17, discuss, review, and approve the template for the finance director. I know that's in your packets. So, questions or not? Otherwise, motion to approve.
Motion to approve the template for finance director?
Motion has been made and seconded. Any questions or comments? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against nay, the ayes have it. 18, similar thing. Discuss, review, and approve template for technology director, which is also in the balance.
Motion to approve template for technology director?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions, comments? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against nay, the ayes have it. 19, discuss, review, approve, going out to bid for the Smithfield High School sign, which a class of 2020 gave as a gift in 2020. Right now, it's part of the sign. So I don't know, Superintendent, you want to say, but I'll basically tell you, the class of 2020 made a donation. By memory, I think it was $15,000. What do you call it? COVID came in, and the field and all the construction out there came in, didn't get done. We did go out to find out what it would cost, and at the time, if memory serves me correct, it was $23,000, so we were short. That was a while ago where they won't honor that, so we need to go out again. My personal opinion, Fisher Cup 8 people, we gotta do this, okay? Which means the extra money we'll have to take, most likely, out of our fund balance to do that.
Are we able to fundraise for this instead of taking it out of our fund balance?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I would do, okay? I'm not gonna say not do that, I'm gonna say do the job, get it done, and then if we wanna fundraise, whether it be advertising or something else, as opposed to waiting to get enough fundraising there. I mean, this has been 5 years now, okay? It's only things only going up. I mean, short answer is yes, we can, but my personal belief is do it and then.
I would just say, while we're looking at and getting price quotes for that sign, to have a sign that has a spot for a space under it to make sure we have the right spot so we can go out for fundraising opportunities. If we want to have a
So you're
certain,
saying like advertise on the sign?
right on the sign, on the bottom, and $10,000, you get it for 3 years. You know, and there goes our, instead of taking out of our fund balance, which is, you know, every penny counts, that would be something I would like to see. So depending on the sign, making sure that we have a spot to fundraise on it.
Well, when we put the bid together, that can be obviously put into the, things like that. So that would require a motion to go out to bid, and you could that little addendum.
Motion to approve going out to bid for the SHS sign.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. Ayes have it. And by the way, when it comes back, that's when we approve it, but this year is we're going to bid. Item 20, discuss, review, approve fiscal year 24-25 budgetary increase in director of facilities mileage. Now this particular one is for the current year that we're in, April through June, for $1,000.
Just in terms of context, we are required, since the employee is using his own vehicle, to be paying for mileage. We've taken, which we presented before, happy to present it again, the average miles of the facilities director. We showed that through the truck. This would be, again, 2.5 months without the truck. It averages out to about $400, a little bit more, but $400 a month. So this would be for 2.5 months. This would cover the remainder of the year. Looking at our stipend of approximately for the next motion will be for $4,000 a year. So again, it provides a flat rate. What it also requires any employee who's receiving a mileage stipend is to track that time, and those are reported. Sorry, the mileage and the distance.
This does require a motion and a second.
Motion to approve the fiscal year 24-25 budgetary increase of $1,000 for the facilities director.
And a second.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I have no problem moving forward with this. I just would like to see the charted out of what this is going to cost us over the year once we increase this. I think it's absolutely necessary to increase, but I just want to see if you can provide us more information on what this is going to eventually cost, once we bill out for an entire school year. So at this rate, right, this will go through all of next school year.
If you vote on the next item, yes. So
Yeah,
this would just be for the remainder, so initially, because we're straddling 2 budget years. So
Right, but so when we're talking about this is based on,
Roughly 3 months. The item 20.
Right.
Roughly 3 months. So that's the remainder of this year, so 1 quarter. What it will be for the full budgetary year is 3 months times 4, and that's where your 4,000.
So 1,000 a quarter.
right, but
Right.
that's 1,000
The
for
4,000
not
for a year.
knowing how many miles he actually puts on. We're averaging what we think is going to happen, correct?
Yeah, so what it is there are some certain administrators that travel to the district, and there's 2 ways that you can pay for mileage. One is the IRS reimbursement rate, or some administrators have travel stipends in their contract. Travel stipends are taxable to the extent of what's required is at the end of each month, the administrators, or quarter, the administrators submit mileage. And then, so if let's pretend that it was myself, and I was going to get this $1,000 over 3 months, I could submit my mileage, and then they would deduct the 70 cents per mile, and anything above that is taxable as a taxable fringe. So that's what happens. So this is a stipend, and if no mileage is submitted, then the full $1,000 would be taxable, as taxable on their W-2 at the end of the year. So that's the 2 ways that you can get mileage, either in a stipend, which is taxable, or mileage, exact mileage reimbursement. So if any employee was to travel, and it could be any employee, goes from building to building to building, and they submit their mileage, not from home to work, but building to building to building, we are required by IRS regulation to reimburse them for the mileage at the rate, and the rate right now is 70 cents per mile.
Great, thank you
So
very
it's
much.
this on top of rate?
No,
This
so,
is-
right, so it's just, so the way the district does it here is they do a stipend, but they can submit their mileage law to reduce the amount that they're taxed of their stipend. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're allowed the 70 cents, so if I get a stipend, I can actually show you my mileage, and then they're not giving me 70 cents, they're just taking that off what they tax me.
Okay.
So we have payroll.
I do this every quarter. I mean, I know exactly what it is, and I just take the 70 cents, but I have to show up. It's a must.
Right, and if you don't track anything, then you're taxed on the full
And
amount.
guess what? Yeah, they knock on your door. So we're on the first one now, the item 20, which is 1,000 to finish out this school year. All right, this budget year, I should say. So we have a motion and a second. No further questions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. Item 21, similar, we're only moving into next year, 25-26 budgetary year, and this is for a full year. This would require a motion.
Motion to approve budgetary increase for Director of Facilities mileage stipend to $4,000.
And a second.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. Item 22, discuss, review, approve fiscal year 24-25, current year, budgetary increase for technology specialist stipend to $2,500.
Just to give a little bit of context for you and for the audience that's watching, the technology director has moved on in April. So again, one of our technician has taken on the lead covering not only his job, but the job of the tech director. So again, I'm looking at the number of hours and the responsibilities. This is a one-time stipend that would cover that additional time and overtime. I really call it overtime for that person in a stipend that would be set. This would sunset upon certainly the approval of, finding an approval of a new technology director, which is expected soon.
Motion to approve budgetary increase for the technology specialist stipend for the fiscal year 24-25 to $2,500.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. Item 23, discussion on the Smithfield High School dress code policy. The purpose of this is so we can have a discussion, what the committee would like to see potentially changed, if anything, so that it then has time to be printed up and put into the handbook, which will be this summer we have to approve. So that's what tonight is for, not to actually make the changes, but to discuss it and see where we're headed.
So
Go
if I
ahead, I'm
may,
sorry.
I had asked for this to be reviewed specifically. So I had a lot of concerns with some of the verbiage that's used in the policy itself. We cite very specific things that I think, no pun intended, clothing, sometimes less is more, where we're using words in here that I don't think are necessary to cover and I think create more confusion over what we're actually looking to see within the dress code. I can cite specific things, but in addition to that, I have a problem with a number of things personally that are on here. We allow hats to be worn in our school buildings. I really have a strong disagreement with this. I feel like that's a matter of respect, it's a matter of focus, it's a matter of so many things that are going on. I have no problem with specialty days where students are allowed to wear hats for crazy things and whatnot, but on a day-to-day basis, I don't believe that hats should be allowed to be worn in the school building. My other issue with the dress code policy, and I think this is the biggest issue, is that we have a lot of things that are mentioned in here that are just not being adhered to. And so if we're going to have a policy, just as it's cited at the bottom of this policy where it says that school staff should consistently enforce the dress code policy, that is clearly not happening today. So we either have to adjust the policy and work with what we're actually enforcing, or we need to strike that language from here. For instance, we have written out in here that midriffs may be covered. That is certainly not the case anywhere in this high school, and it's certainly not being consistently done. So we either need to strike that language. Again, I'm not saying that we need to move in one direction or the other, but we just need to review, and if we're going to say we're going to be consistent with something, we have to make sure it's happening. Hoods, it says that they can't have hoods up. I mean, kids have hoods up all over the building. And so, again, does that really need to be mentioned in our policy, specifically that they're not allowed to have the hood or the hoodie up over their head? I just think we have a lot of room for improvement in this.
Yes, other questions or comments? I certainly agree with one. If we have policy, you got to enforce it. Once it's in, might as well just save the paper. Hats is a bugaboo for mine. Years ago, I tried getting out of it. Also, hoodie, which is a hat attached to a sweatshirt, is why wear them? I mean, you know, it was fine. Wear the thing and cap it down. There's no need to be in the classroom. And I've heard from teachers. I mean, they are not thrilled with it. those two particularly myself. And I think we should, when we come back to vote on this, we should take those out, but what Ms. Salas says also is, why have it if we're not enforcing it? And we can do that for anything. Spend all this time talking about attendance, you know? We're not gonna enforce things, and it really, people kind of slide on all this stuff. Okay, other questions or comments? Yes.
There we go. Yeah, I just have one comment where it's, I don't think we should get to the hat. I don't think we should make any changes as of yet until, like we said, we're ensuring that the policy as written is being enforced. Is the handbook signed and returned or just given out to students and families just to see?
Yeah, emergency.
Yeah, so it is acknowledged, you know, by the students, so there is a sign off on those handbooks.
So there used to be the sheet at the back, you get the giant packet that was sent home, there was a sheet at the back. Then when everything transformed, you have to go through and your name, your date of birth, everyone who lives in your house, you check you go through every factual piece of information, it's at the end of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, but my concern just in general would just be that they know that there's no consequences when it comes to any of this. So, like you said, either address the consequences, address the policy, or kind of get everybody on board. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the bad guy telling someone, you know, you gotta go home and change, or you're supposed to, but again, if the policy's being written.
Right, yeah, and I don't, that part of it has come up for discussion before. It is very challenging, I think, for any administrator or teacher to have to enforce some of these things, and I know there's, you know, some tension that comes along with it. But again, then let's readdress the language that's in there so that we are following what we're saying our policy is.
Oh, I'm just saying I would want to do that's why I'm an administrator or an educator. I mean, it's part of the job, I guess.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is that you just let everything go independent. You know, if you're not gonna have it, you know, so.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're saying we can't put a thing in for hats because nobody will enforce it, then why do we have any rules?
Understood.
That's
The
simple.
only
I mean,
time-
and that's, by the way, that's a simple one.
Yeah. The only time I told her doesn't bring a hat to school is when I drop off at school. You know, so it's a point of contention for me as well, because it is just very simple respect.
And the other thing is, we are coming up on the summer where we put these things together, so, you know, want to have it together, it's awfully hard to say on, you know, December 15th, oh, by the way, now we've changed the hat policy.
So,
Time to do it is beginning of school.
so if this is discussion, what would your next suggestion be that we,
I would suggest that maybe we send the superintendent some things, that if there are specific things you would like to see, send the superintendent, and at our next meeting, or a meeting, we can then, one of the meetings here coming up, we can put together individual items to vote on. Doesn't have to be an all or nothing, we can say, yeah, that's fine, got it. And then we go forward from there. So, the rest of the policy will stay as it is. And I think by sending it to superintendent, she'll get a gist of what they are, what ones need particular language, or how we need to change the language.
yeah, I just think, you know, citing specific articles of clothing, we say yoga pants are okay, skinny jeans, like why are we getting into logistics of like what a piece of clothing is? I think that makes it more challenging to enforce, and that we can maybe just change some of the language around that. And then some other things where, I mean, we use the word cleavage, and that cleavage is generally acceptable in our policy. I feel like we could probably redirect around that. Yeah. So those are things personally that I'm going to put in my notes that I will forward on, and
Very
then
good.
maybe superintendent can put it all together and we can go.
What's that?
Great.
Gotta admit, it's much more fun talking about the food policy.
I'll go back to recognizing the students anyway.
Okay, all right, so that's that one. Now we go to school building committee update. I'm going to start off with superintendent, because there's only really two major items.
We have had 4 school building committee meetings so far, so the committee is really working hard. We have another one coming up on June 11th at the district, they're held at the district office at 5:30, so it is certainly a fully recognized, statewide recognized committee. So quite a lot has been happening at the schools, I think very positively. So we had, just to give everyone an update, to explain, I sent a letter out to the high school community today regarding the culinary arts room. So as you're all aware, the floor is being remediated. It was being remediated, it does have to be replaced to meet the RIDE standards for a CTE, a pitched floor, with the drains that was in there. We do have until the end of June for that work to be done, for the new floor to put in, as well as an additional sink. We did try to do the work early. The culinary room is sealed off. In fact, the high school principal has sealed off the entire corridor. We felt that we could do the work earlier because it is an isolated, there's no other classrooms that are around that. However, we started the work on Monday and Tuesday. The noise level was much too high. It was disruptive to classes, so I did make the decision to, certainly the OPM and I came to the high school, met with the principal, so the work stopped the work because our contract allows it. In fact, it not only allows it, but it does specify that this work would happen after school. So we tried to get, as you know, these are ambitious projects, a little bit, just in terms of students, staff, safety, not disrupting the environment. I did ask that the work stop. Again, there is no financial consequence for that because we're following the contract. This was discussed with the OPM, Colliers, as well as with the company that is doing it. Again, as a precaution, and what was stated in an earlier letter, air samples would be taken. So I do want to say that it was very thorough, not just in the surrounding areas, the windowsills, the hallways, the stairwells, but also up on the second floor. So those reports came back very rapidly that there was certainly no contamination in the building, which is very good news. The major noise, though, was happening not necessarily in the room because it is somewhat isolated. It was a diesel generator that was outside of the school to power the tools. The wind was blowing in the right way. The windows upstairs were open. The diesel smell was going into the classroom. So that's what I'm saying with disruption and safety issues. So that was shut down. The principal certainly had the classes removed. It mostly impacted a couple of teachers. No students reported anything, so we did have certainly teachers go to the nurse. And with the work shut down, everyone was able to go back into the classroom. So I truly believe this work can wait and it will be done on time, and again at no additional cost because we are following the contract. The result will be, by the end of June, this room will be CTE certified ready. It will have that new floor in there. Secondly, I was at the town council meeting last night with our OPM. As you know, you had approved the bid, as did the school building committee, for the IS intensive special education room to be moved. Our idea is that it is right here in the center of the school, and for work to be done in this room. So what this will be is a terrific upgrade for our students who are been located towards the back of the building in what I'm going to call an old shop room with a garage door. So we've past 3 years looking for another space that students would be integrated and that had better climate control, for lack of a better term. So in their current location, there is a kitchen, there is no bathroom, so unfortunately students are transported to non-ADA compliant bathrooms. Those are the closest to that particular space. Another reason why the space needs to have an ADA compliant bathroom. In these rooms, these 4 rooms that are back here, has been holding our technology department for the district. There's a lot of equipment, personnel work out of there. It is a perfect space once cleaned out to be able to have the life skills classes, to include a kitchen, to include a bathroom, to have you know, the living space, but also the classroom space, and also to be able to store the equipment that is necessary. So currently, not all of the equipment fits in the current room. It will fit in the new room. And again, this will be soundproof. That was approved by all three governing boards at last night's meeting. Certainly there was a hold on the possibility of the alternates. So part of that alternate is to demolish this old greenhouse so that we have more outdoor space. We have an ADA door that's there, and again, it's on hold by the council. So that would require our school building committee to vote for that alternate add-on at a pretty quick point by July, and bring that forward and potentially, probably asking the town council to hold an emergency session should we want to have that work done and meet the deadline. So these are two, as you know, two emergency projects. For other people who don't know, emergency projects approved by RIDE are very short duration. We're running actually two. One during fiscal year 25. So this project will start and end by the end of June, by June 30th. The second fiscal year for 26 would start July 1. Back to school is on, for our teachers, is August 25th. The rooms we expect must be completed so that prior to the first day of school, our intensive special education students and staff are located here, and it's a much easier move for our technology team to move into the other area. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, we have another building committee meeting next week. I'll get into that in a couple of seconds here. Boyle update, I do not believe there's anything to deal with tonight, okay? This one, 26, discuss, review, and approve invoice number 1033344 from Slam Architects not to exceed $57,429. Before we go, now this is the same one that the building committee said, let's wait. So we want to table this one. Here's the thing, we want the drawing, so we want to see what we're paying this for, okay? And I believe we have that information. I can send it, just haven't had a chance to look at it. So the building committee should be able to make a decision next week, and we have a meeting right after that here. Hopefully, if everything goes bang bang, we're all set, okay? So motion to table would be in order.
Motion to table the Slam Architects invoice 1033344.
Second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. 27, communications. Copy of resignation, free retirements, new hires in the district, and a copy of budget transfers for May of 2025. Superintendent's report.
I have just two items. Certainly, Saturday is graduation, so we are, as usually happens during this time when it's outside at Deerfield Park, watching the weather very carefully, working with the town on this. So the principal of the high school will make that call by Friday afternoon. I believe he's communicated it to families whether or not we'll be able to go forward. And again, it's the best guess based on a forecast. So if it's predicted to be heavy rains for 11 o'clock or prior, most likely, most definitely, it will be on Sunday this year, which looks nice. However, it seems that the weather forecast, as usual, has changed every day, so it actually may not rain until...
I've been watching it, and it's changing.
The latest is chance of rain 70%, and before it was 40%. But it says showers for the afternoon.
So, but the thing we haven't discussed is if a bear walks across the stage.
If it walks across Pleasant View's parking lot.
I'm gonna let him walk, I'm not. Okay, you said you had two.
So yes, so the second one is just to let everyone know that school ends, again, going back to the absentees, the last day of school is June 16th. We do want to let the committee know that on June 17th, I have a group of about 30 or so teachers across the district, and then some administrators on top of that number who will be having professional development at Gallagher Middle School in the library on artificial intelligence, different educational applications for it, and opportunities to collaborate with the trainer to be able to look at applications that might, again, enhance learning or assist in lesson planning. Thank you.
Public forum? Nothing. 30, consider items to add to future agendas. We do have a few that I can keep in notes that people have brought up, and handbook provisions, et cetera, the dress code we're talking about now. And we will be getting a report at some point on detention and suspensions later on in the month, let the year finish itself out. I think that's basically the notes I've been taking from people here. So, go ahead, let's add one to it. What is it?
I know we talk a lot about data. A data point that I'd really like to take a look at is the percentage of time that each grade level is spending on technology versus, and I know that we can't get probably an exact number, but we should be able to get, actually, I mean, the device itself would give us an exact number if we wanted to go purely by like the amount of time the device is being used. I'm sure our tech partners can help us with that. But I'd love to see a breakdown of the percentage of time throughout the day by grade level that technology is being utilized by the students.
Okay, anything else? I have, this is not really at a future agenda, but I have a plea for 2 school committee members to be on, one on the Health and Wellness Committee, and tonight you heard you get tacos, okay? So what else do you need for a thing? Yeah, there you go, monkfish even, okay? So I would, that, and the other one is the high school guidance department has a committee that they're setting up now, and they've asked for a school committee member on that. That's, what's that? The high school guidance department, okay? And they're gonna meet twice a year, okay, on that one. Talk about guidance issues. Health and wellness generally meets about 3 times a year, okay? So I'd ask the 2 of you, give it good thought. So maybe. Guidance one? We got one right there.
I'll do it.
And you want to do tacos? Gotcha. All right, so that's what that.
My stomach's growling.
I have had a productive night. There we go. All right, so that's all my notes here. Item 31, consider and vote on a motion to convene executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5A, matters pertaining to collective bargaining with Local 1217, Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5A2, and then review executive session minutes of May 15, 2025. This does require a motion.
Motion to move to executive session.
And a second.
Second.
Motion made and second. This will be an individual roll call. Ms. Stafford.
Aye.
Ms. Allen.
Aye.
Bowman. And Mr. LeBlanc.
Aye.
Okay, and myself, aye. All right, that's that, and we'll come on and say what we did later on. Thank you.